Hey, what's going on, guys? I've got kind of a unique adventure I'm going to attempt. I don't know what the outcome's going to be, so right now it's kind of up in the air. Here's my plan, though. I came up with this last night. The conditions look pretty good for this evening and tomorrow morning to fly. Temperatures are starting to warm up a little bit here in Tennessee. Highs in the mid 60s today. Lows overnight will be low 50s. So I'm sitting in my boat right now. I've got a 2023 Sea-Doo Switch. So my plan is to load the Paramotor up in the pontoon, bring my camping gear, go out on the lake tonight. Last time I was out there just a few days ago, there was a couple areas where the water is so low that there's some big sandbars that are kind of opened up. And it looks like a great spot to fly from. So I thought, hey, let's load the gear up on the pontoon. We'll head out there, do some flying tonight, find a spot to park the boat, overnight camp, and then maybe even fly in the morning. Now, I did put some extra thought into this because this boat sits up pretty high off the water. And I thought, how hard is that going to be to get the paramotor in and out of the boat when I get to a point where I want to fly? So this is where I think the open PPG SP140 will be an asset, because what I can do is take the battery out, and the frame weighs next to nothing, and the battery itself is pretty easy to manage. I'm also thinking about bringing my battery bank so I can use that for powering things for camping, as well as possibly charge the battery overnight so I can fly again in the morning. So there's a lot going on right now, a lot up in the air, but let's see what happens. Okay guys, we are all loaded up. I've never had this much stuff in the boat before, but definitely can handle it. We're heading off to the lake now. We're going to stop and get a little bit of fuel, make sure we got plenty of gas for this adventure. No gas for the Paramotor. I got the SP140, battery's all charged up. I've got my battery bank in there as well. So, man, we are all set. Well guys, the launch went pretty well. It's sometimes a little challenging by myself, especially at this particular spot, because there's no real dock to actually dock the boat next to. So the nice thing about this thing is you can slide it up on the beach. I mean, the pontoons are super durable, so I'm not too worried about that. This boat is actually pretty impressive. It's a 230 horsepower supercharged motor. It's basically like an amped up jet ski motor. But it handles really well. I'm still in the break-in period where it kind of limits throttle response and top speed until we hit 10 hours. I think I'm only 4.5 hours in. But it's got lots of pick up and go. It'll be fun for tubing this summer. Okay guys, we're approaching the sandbar that I was hoping to be able to launch from. And this thing is quite long. I'm really not overly concerned about space. It's just the wind direction. We got a couple hours though before it's time to fly. So we're just gonna hang out a little bit, chill out, kind of get things set up on the boat and go from there. Now, unfortunately, there's very little public land, like BLM land or just open land to use in Tennessee. Everything's privately owned. But one thing I've noticed using the water, there's a lot of water in the area I live in, and there's these little campsites that are set up. Some are a lot more primitive. This one is actually got picnic tables and miscellaneous things, but with the water being so low, there's a nice beach front. Might be a little bit of a challenge to get the motor back through here. This is pretty nice. It's fairly packed, easy enough to run on. To take off, we got a little bit of a headwind this way and plenty of room to launch. So this is going to be awesome. Trekking the motor through that isn't going to be too much fun, but I think it's definitely doable. So yeah, I think we found our spot. Awesome. Having to load everything on and off the boat, a little inconvenient, but it's not that bad. I just want to make sure I keep everything dry. That's the main thing. This electric paramotor weighs, I'd say it's almost 1 ton. 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 1 ton.
The way the weight is, we're higher up on your back, so it actually feels lighter, even though it's not. But it's definitely more comfortable to walk on. No warming up. Make sure we have no weeds in there. Now, I've gone on a few adventures over the years, and one thing I've noticed is the longer I fly, the more I look forward to new adventures. You know, casual flying is fun. Realistically, what I get the most satisfaction from is doing something new, trying to use the paramotor in a way that a lot of people don't use it. It's pretty impressive what we can do with this thing and where it can take us. Okay, I found a decent spot to camp out at. I can tie up to this tree here, though the water is really calm tonight, so I'm not overly concerned. Now, one of the reasons I like to do these adventures is to kind of troubleshoot potential problems, or how do I make this work? How do I make that work? So as you can see, I've got this area cleared out for my tent. Where'd the paramotor go? Well, I came up with this idea just on the fly. I mounted it to the back. This boat has a deck on the back, so it worked out great to be able to mount the paramotor to that. I may confuse a few people thinking this is some kind of an airboat. Now, I'm actually quite curious if this thing could actually push the boat. I might feel better if it was on my back and I just kind of prop myself up against the boat, but it would be an interesting experiment, so we'll see. So another thing I brought is my EcoFlow Delta Pro. Now, this is a massive battery, and typically I wouldn't bring this big thing if I didn't have to charge my SP140 battery. The battery that comes in the SP140 is 4 kilowatts. This is 3.6 kilowatts. Now, I didn't use all of the battery, probably like 50-60%, so shouldn't take all of this to charge it, but I should be able to top it off overnight. This also gives me a few functions if I need to charge anything, my phone, my laptop, anything like that. So kind of a cool device. So as you can see, it's drawing about 1 kilowatt. So it'll probably take a couple hours to top this battery off, and I should still have plenty of reserve left in case I need anything. All right, I got the tent set up. I love this tent. It fits in here just perfect. It's actually a two-person. I've only used it as a single. And then I brought my nice thick memory foam mattress, so I should be sleeping pretty good. All these fishermen coming in for the night. Yeah, my buddy Colton and I were talking about sleeping during camping trips or fly camping, and I never sleep good. I sleep decent in my own bed, but even not that good at home. You throw me in a tent and it's likely not going to go so well. But I'm hopeful tonight. It's going to be nice and cool tonight. I've got a really nice setup. I'm on the water, so a little bit of swaying. We'll have to see how it goes. But let's cook up some soup. I am starving and the sun's about to go down. I did forget a couple things. I don't have any lights, and it makes me think, okay, maybe I need to install some lights on this beamy top just for, well, situations like this. The other issue is my battery for the unit is a very small battery, so you won't want to really rely on that, so it'd have to be something I can plug in. So let's eat. Well, I have to say this has been a pretty cool adventure so far. Everything's working pretty well. Good conditions, good flying conditions, good boating conditions, super peaceful tonight. I am going to hit the hay and we'll see what happens in the morning. I'm hoping to be able to get another flight in before I head back. But so far, it's been quite the adventure. Nothing like a little oatmeal in the morning to kind of warm me up. I forgot my hot chocolate. I'm not a coffee drinker, so it's either hot chocolate or oatmeal. You know, I heard all the hype about Jetboil, but the reality is I never knew how good it really was. It just seemed like kind of one of those things everybody had to have or talk about. But once I bought one last year and I've used it multiple times, it's an impressive little system. Not only does it pack down really small, but it heats super fast. It cools, everything cools down really fast so you can pack it away quick. Man, it's pretty impressive. Well, guys, this is where I wanted to launch yesterday, and I found that bigger spot. So there's a little bit of breeze coming in behind me, and I think it should make for a good launch. So let's get set up and try this little landing strip. It's like its own little airport out here. Let's give it a shot. All right, let's do this. Well, guys, that was pretty awesome flight. I just wanted to buzz along this area, and the winds are just coming in really nice, so it was fun to just take off and land, play around a little bit. But you can get a better idea on this strip here. I've got plenty of space, but that last one, I swear I was going to step in the water. The winds are kind of coming off, a little crosswind here right now, so I can't go straight down. But yeah, super fun flight. This was a cool experience. It's actually starting to warm up a little bit, so the temperature's a little bit more tolerable too. So I'd love to go play around a little bit more, but as the winds are coming over these hills, we're getting a little bit of rotor. It's just not as comfortable. So let's pack up.